It's still muted. Here, one second. Oh, you're good now.
What about now?
You're good now.
We good, Brendan?
Yes, you're good.
Thank you. Okay, so everybody, just quick, we have a number of items. We have a public hearing, proposed resolution to approve non-exclusive leasing of town-owned properties at 55 Park Street. I'll get into that a little bit further. Then we have a special town meeting to discuss and approve that. And then we will slide into our regularly scheduled meeting, and we're going to start off with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks. For those of you who may not know, I'm Lou Federici. Mr. Hoy is zooming in, and he's on the big screen up there. So welcome, Matt.
Thank you.
So for the public hearing, I need to get an appointment as a moderator.
I nominate Lou Federici.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other nominations? No.
Close the nominations.
Thanks, Matt. Close the nominations. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So that brings us to a public hearing on the proposed resolution to approve non-exclusive leasing of town-owned property at 55 Park Street to Guilford Land Conservation Trust and Guilford Interfaith Ministries. We have our town attorney here, Mr. Peter Barrett, who may have a couple quick comments just to kind of direct where everybody's thinking is or should be on this topic.
Okay.
And we have Anna Dwyer here as well. Thank you, Anna.
Lou, before Pete starts, I'd just like to tee this up. I think this is a unique opportunity for us to continue to partner with organizations that have been our partner for many, many years in delivering services to our community, in participating in the acquisition of open space. The need for both of these organizations had demonstrated need for office space. We have significant capacity over at the Lathrop House, formerly known as Board of Education offices, now known as Town Hall North. And this is one of those things that sort of just fell together over time. And I was pleased that both organizations were willing to work with us in terms of putting together a lease that will secure a home for these two vital organizations and the work that they're doing on behalf of all of us. So that's why we're here. And if there's any questions specifically about those discussions and how we arrived there, I'd be happy to take them.
Great. Thank you, Matt. If anybody has anything, just call it out. You can hear you on the screen. Thanks to Brendan guiding me through the microphone. We also have one of our registrars of voters, Lisa. Hi. When we get to the town meeting portion of this, we're going to count everybody in. Yes. Okay. So public hearing. Pete, if you could just lay this out briefly.
All right. So there's a lot of process around leasing out town-owned property. There's a statute that requires a public hearing to be held by the Board of Selectmen. So that's what we'll start with. Our charter requires a town meeting to for any disposition of town-owned property, and a lease certainly is a disposition. And then the Board of Selectmen has this on the agenda because it's the Board of the Selectmen that's empowered to actually enter into a lease. So those three things. There's also a mandatory referral to the Planning and Zoning Commission. That's already occurred, and I'm advised that they've already approved the leases. The leases are identical to each other. They're not exclusive, meaning that they share this property. We have town offices over there, and it's a 4-year lease, but there is a provision allowing either party to terminate for any reason upon 3 months advance written notice. So I think that's where we are. And then, so the public hearing is best just to get some feedback from the public as to its position on this, and then we'll go to a town meeting. Great, thanks. Thank you, Peter. So I'll start with anyone in the room who's got any comments on this or questions. Or anyways, you got to come up quickly, just identify yourself, address, and we're here to hear you.
Debbie Denise, 18 Sugarloaf Road. So I just happened upon this. I didn't realize that this was happening. But I did have one question. I understand that is part of, I guess, Town Hall North. And so I understand we're sort of, I guess, having a lease with these two organizations, which are really wonderful for our town. Do they have any payment necessary for leasing? They do. Okay.
Yes, I think it's
It's
$50.
nominal.
I think it's
Right.
$50 a month.
Okay, so because it is Town Hall North, we take care of most of the expenses and they just have a little bit of, I think it's important for them, the town citizens, to know that they have some something in the game, even though it is nominal.
Yeah, I mean, to make the
We
lease
should have mentioned this.
essentially functional, you need to have some consideration.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Deb. Anyone else in the room? Or go out to the audience online? Anyone? No, doesn't look like it. Anyone online?
Hi, this is Gloria, the other registrar, and I'm taking attendance on Zoom, but I don't know if you could ask who Samsung is, the phone.
Yeah, their count, we're getting a count.
Yeah, we're gonna get a count.
Yeah,
Of who's
Brendan's giving us a count. Brendan is counting the onlines.
But I need to know the name of Samsung.
He's getting them.
Okay, Brendan, you catching that? We're counting on you to take the head count of those online, which we need names only. Gloria?
I think.
Well, yeah,
Lori's.
named residents of Guilford, but the one who signed in as Samsung has no name.
Got it. We will pin that down. Okay, so any other thanks, Gloria. Any other comments or questions from anyone on the Zoom?
Well, I'd like to make a few comments.
Absolutely.
So I think I might be one of the few selectmen who would express some concerns about this. And some of my concerns are just that it's a fair and uniform process. Is really everybody able to jump on this opportunity and rent? And I kind of consider it to be sort of a sweetheart deal to rent for $50 this kind of office space. And then another concern I have is that, you know, by doing so and embedding these organizations into the local government in a way, there's sort of the persona of them being a quasi-government organization. You know, even though I love a lot of the work of the Guilford Land Trust and all the great things they've done for the town, you know, it's kind of interesting, like, would any other organization have the same opportunity? So I'm concerned about that. And then I'm concerned about the government just extending and sort of getting into the leasing business. I really don't know how much we've done that in the past, but I'm always a little worried when the government starts getting into more things like that. So I'm not too supportive of it. You know, I love the work of the Guilford Land Trust and some of these other organizations, but I don't know if the town should be offering sort of a sweetheart deal on some of its office space to certain organizations.
Matt, did you get that? You want to comment?
Lou, if I could, I'm not going to opine on John's position, but I will answer the question. Yes, we have had leases in the past with other organizations. Most recently, the Outdoor Education Center for a piece of property that we own up in North Guilford. They've since ceased operations, so this is not unique to the arrangement. So I just wanted to clarify that point.
Thanks.
And I believe the Guilford Center for Children, which for a long time was located behind Town Hall North and next to the library, they're funded through the state and through their own tuition, but that they were on town land
Behind what?
behind the library. So yeah, they moved, but you know, yeah.
So the food bank, which is independent,
Yeah.
which is
Right.
on town property.
Yeah, they're still on.
So I hear that, just observations on the questions, comments. The whole purpose of the lease is to create that separation and not just fold them into, you know, municipal operations. They are an independent entity. And while, we, you know, I think it's important to maintain that arm's length arrangement, which I think is what we're trying to do here. So just my thoughts on your questions.
And further thought, it's not as if the town is acquiring a property in order to lease it. That would that would make us in the business of leasing, as you said. We have the facilities, we have excess space right now. Organizations can make use of that. the town is, I believe, adequately protected by the leases, insurance and so on. I don't see why we wouldn't do this.
And I mean, either party can get out with a 3-month notice. So, I mean, we're not doing this today so that we can get out of it immediately, but I mean, there is that provision if we needed to do it. And the interfaith ministries, they work hand in hand with town agencies and particularly with the Meals on Wheels deliveries and a lot of complimentary services to senior citizens that we do offer through the Park and Rec. But it's another whole aspect of services to the town that they're taking on with their fundraising, and it's not coming out of the town budget.
Might say a public-private partnership.
You could.
Like decide to pull up some alliteration.
Yeah.
Always a good day to start that way. Okay, but thank you. Anything else on that topic? Anyone else in the room? No, good to go. Zoom? Hearing none. I think we can bring the public hearing to a close. You need a motion to do that? Nah, public hearing's over. Okay, done. We have a late comment. Jump in, please. You want to call out your name?
I just found out that the town want to have a budget increase of 6.15.
Okay, we're not quite at our town meeting just yet, or our regularly scheduled Board of Selectmen meeting. We will be there momentarily, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir, of course. Glad you're here. So that's the conclusion of the public hearing on this proposed resolution. I'd like to call to order the special town meeting to approve, and I think I'm going to look at our town clerk, Anna Dwyer,
Okay,
who will read the notice.
all right. Notice is hereby given that the Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing and special town meeting on Monday, March 16th, 2026 at 8:30 a.m. in the Selectmen's Meeting Room at Town Hall, 31 Park Street, Guilford, Connecticut, and via Zoom to consider and act on the following proposed resolution. Resolved to approve the non-exclusive leasing of town-owned property located at 55 Park Street, Guilford, to Guilford Land Conservation Trust, Inc., and Guilford Interfaith Ministries, Inc., DBA Guilford Interfaith Volunteers.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We're in a town meeting. I suppose we should have just another opportunity for questions or comments if anyone wants to speak now that we are going to act on this resolution that's been brought before the town meeting. So anyone else have any other thoughts, questions? Before we call the question, then I will look to our registrars to make sure they've had a chance to do whatever they need to do.
I'm all set. Thank
Can
you.
anyone who's on the Zoom who's going to be voting in the town meeting just change your name to your first and last name?
Brendan, this is Gary McElhenney. I'm the Samsung that she was worried about.
Gotcha, Gary. Thank you.
And I'm on a phone and I have no power in New Hampshire. So I'm just going to leave it the way it is and not mess up my connection.
Okay, I got you, Gary. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Gary.
I got that.
Okay. Sorry?
Oh,
I think you already got it.
You said I got that.
Oh, you got that. Thanks, Gloria. Sorry. All right. So how do we bring this to a vote? Do I just call it this? All in favor?
Yeah, get a motion out there first. Is somebody?
Can I get a motion from anyone? It's town meeting.
So moved.
I'll make,
Thank you. Janet?
Second.
Okay, we got it. Any further discussion on the approval of this resolution at town meeting to approve these non-exclusive leases that we talked about so far? No further discussion. Okay, all in favor of approving the leases as set forth in the resolution as read by our town clerk? Aye.
Aye.
And online, either hold up your hand.
Aye.
Wait for the registrars to say they're happy.
Yeah. I'm happy. Very happy.
Gloria?
You have everything?
Very good. Thank you. So, any opposed? Opposed? Anyone in the room? No. Anyone else in the room? Excuse me. Anyone online opposed? Nope. Okay. Registrars happy?
Yep. All good.
Gloria?
happy.
Okay. Appears to have passed. And thank you, everyone. There's no other business before the town meeting. I'll ask for a motion to adjourn the town meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Have a good day.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks.
Thanks,
You all showed up. All right, we can slide right into,
Thanks, Ann.
thanks, Anna, our regularly scheduled.
We had public forum.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see if that topic's gonna be on. Yeah, is that gonna be on the agenda? I may just take it anyway.
Yeah.
Because I mean. Was that like always here? We're gonna call the meeting and we're gonna have public forum. It's
Okay.
supposed to be on the agenda item, but.
Yeah.
Okay, so calling to order the regularly scheduled, Board of Selectmen meeting for, my goodness, it is the 16th of March. Kevin, warm weather is coming, I hope. And we'll start off with public forum. Sir, we had some speaker in the back. If you'd come up, just identify yourself and let us know.
I found out,
Could you just give your name and address?
Larson, 78 Walnut Trail.
Yes. Okay.
I found out that through the newspaper, the town want a budget increase of 6.15. I'll be honest, I blew a gasket. I have not ever heard one single individual voice a concern for people on a fixed income, working class, and so on. I had never heard one word, affordability. All due respect, you people must think every single individual earn what? $80,000 to $120,000 a year. What more can I say? I went to Tennessee last year. There's a very good chance I'll be moving because of the issue of affordability. I saw a home roughly $1 million in the town of Crossville. Property tax, $3,000. I did some research. The state of Connecticut, it ranked roughly number 4 in cost of living. I better go before I lose my temper. That's one question.
What's that?
What would it take for you guys to spend what you have instead of what you wish you have?
Thanks, sir. Budget season.
You're not so welcome.
Okay. Anyone else want to speak in public forum? On items related to the agenda, I wanted to get that citizen, give them a chance to be heard. Anyone online? No. Okay. Approval of minutes. March 2nd,
So moved.
regular meeting minutes. Need a second on those?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion, questions, comments, corrections to the meeting minutes of March 2nd? Hearing none. Matt, good?
Good.
Okay. All in favor of the minutes as drafted in the room, say aye.
Aye.
Online, Mr. Hoy?
Aye.
Thank you. Those passed. That will bring us to discuss and authorize execution of the leases at 55 Park Street to Guilford Land Conservation Trust and Guilford Interfaith Volunteers. We have just acted as a town at our town meeting this morning to approve this. Evidently, we need to act as a Board of Selectmen to authorize the execution of these leases, which will come out of the first Selectman's office if also authorized. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second, there's two separate leases, so we're authorizing both. This motion will authorize the vote.
It's up today.
All right,
Uh,
okay,
leases.
okay.
What's before, so
All right.
yeah, and with the town meeting act on both. Good question,
Just
clarification.
wanted to be sure we didn't.
Thank you, Brendan. Good with that, so we're acting on both leases, authorize the execution of both. Okay, board members, any questions or comments?
So just to kind of note my concerns on the record in this meeting as well. I am concerned that, the town is pushing into an area where they're leasing property. And I'm not sure if we really want to go there and that's kind of expansive. And then I'm a little concerned that when the lease, evolved, it wasn't that everyone had the ability to apply for this lease. It looked like it was sort of catered around the need for the land trust and the interfaith ministry. And then I'm concerned that when people rent from the town and they're embedded in our facilities, that they have this like appearance as like a quasi-government organization, even though they should be independent. So those are some of the concerns I have about the town going in that direction and leasing property, some of these organizations. I do want to echo, though, that's no reflection on these organizations. They've done incredible work for Guilford. I'm particularly a big fan of the Guilford Land Trust and go hiking on their trails, here and there all the time. So it's not that they're not doing great things. I just want a fair and uniform process. That's why I have reservations in this particular issue.
So concerns are noted and understood, but what we're voting on is just authorizing someone to sign the documents, which is the will of the town meeting.
Good point. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just-
Anything else online, Matt? No, good to go. So, we have a motion and a second. Some comments. Thank you for those. All in favor to authorize the first selectman to, execute these leases that we've been discussing this morning. Aye, in the room?
Aye.
Huh? That's a no?
Aye.
Okay, and Matt, you're online? No? Yes, excuse me, I'm sorry.
That's a yes.
It's an aye. Gotcha.
So the reason for my comment was to make sure you understood what we're voting on. We're not voting in favor of the leases. We had a town meeting.
Yeah, I just don't support the whole effort.
So you
I
don't
don't think the town
support,
should be doing it.
so you think that we should just not go ahead with this? There was a town meeting.
I don't think we
the
should
town
be
meeting
doing
approved it.
leases like this and get
Not
into this area.
That's not what we're voting on. We're voting on,
Don't want to do the leasing.
Okay. Thanks for that explanation. That brings us to, I think that's my Janet's here. So it's a project on Falcon Road, the road improvement project. That should be an easy name. I'll go with Shukaki and Sons, Sukaki, in the amount of $4,086,393.50.
We need a correction on the amount.
You can see you were okay.
They had two minor math errors in the way they carried forward their totals on two different items, which accounted for $2.05 difference. So our submission to the state and their permission for us to award this project is based on that corrected amount, which is $4,086,391.45.
Okay, so now that we have that clarification, before you go into some detail, can I get a motion to approve this? And this will give them a second if that's the will of the group.
So moved. Second.
Okay,
And now
so now we have discussion. Janice, if you would, please.
Sure. This is the project to repair the broken seawall on Falcon Road. It's not to repair, it's actually to replace it with one that will last through storms. We'll also be elevating the road slightly to make it a little more resilient, as well as adding a parapet wall above the seawall. So that will further protect the road from wave overwash, which occurs regularly, causing debris and sand to accumulate on the road and making it hazardous to use the road. This project is being funded through the LOTSIP program, which is the local transportation improvement. I don't know what it is.
State acronym.
Yeah, state acronym.
Local transportation capital
Improvement.
He's got it.
Yeah.
Did it used to just be LOSIP? without.
Well, there's
There's two
two
different programs.
projects. Yeah, there are two programs. One's LoSiP, which we get annual funding of
All right.
about $225,000, and it comes in the spring every year. This is a particular program that's funded through state bond funds, and each COG, which we're part of the South Central Regional Council of Governments, is allocated a certain amount of money to then disperse amongst its region, municipalities in their region for projects. So it has to get approved by the COG to be funded as a project. So this one includes not only this award of contract amount, but also contingencies of 10% and incidentals to construction of 10%. So the total grant amount is $4,903,669.74. I'll be bringing to you within probably at the next Board of Selectmen meeting an incidental for the project, which will be our structural engineer to do some inspection during the project. So the grant will cover not only the construction costs, but those incidentals. Other things that will be incidental in this project will be other materials testing that we will likely have to outsource. The intention is the engineering department will be doing the bulk of the inspection for the project with the assistance of our structural engineers for the structural portion of the seawall itself. But Sahaki has worked for us before. They did the project down on
Is it Lower Road?
no, I forgot. The culvert down at Shell Beach. I'm sorry, Shell Beach Road.
Oh, right.
Just got back from vacation.
You should have been in Shell. Ideally.
And it's Monday morning.
Yeah, it's been a long, relaxing week, maybe too relaxing. So they did that project. That was over $1 million, and they worked well on that project. I did reach out to Madison, who's also utilized them for other seawall projects. They had good things to say about them. So, having no other reason, they were the low bidder. I would.
In some cases by a considerable amount.
Yeah.
Thank you for that chart.
Yes. Yeah, they were even low bid compared to our engineer's estimate, which was nice. So, I would recommend that we would award this project to them.
And it sounds that you vetted them for experience with this type of work.
I have, yes.
Thank you.
I'm just asking this for the residents in that area. They probably know this, but I think it's nice for us to know. When do you think it will start and when do you think it will end?
So we're trying to get the contract signed as soon as possible with a start in April 1st or very soon thereafter. And the project will be ongoing through the construction season to the end of the year.
Okay.
Wow.
It has a 270-day contract allowance in the project. And then there are the opportunity, if they should not perform well and meet that deadline, there is the ability to fine them for days beyond getting work done.
Janice, I have a question, and sorry that it's a Monday morning, but I think I read that there is the contingencies and so forth, but if we surpass the 4.9 million, I think that we're responsible. And then this part two question, if that's correct, is there a way to put some provisions in the contract to protect us?
Well,
any overruns that are that large?
If we have any major overruns, it's my understanding there is funding available through the COG. We would likely go back to the COG to get a reauthorization of additional funds. Currently, there is some solvency in the program with the COG because other projects, it's a timing thing. And we do have a surplus of funding at the COG right now. We're starting to use up that surplus, but certainly each year they get more funding. So it would be my understanding, as long as it's a defensible, unknown costs, which we don't expect, that we could go back to the COG and ask them to allocate more funds and go through that process.
Okay.
And then, like I said, if there is for some reason that the contractor doesn't perform to the schedule that's been outlined for some reason outside of reasonableness, like act of nature or something like that, then there is the ability to fine them on a daily basis.
So we had a reasonable experience with the culverts.
Yes, so they worked fine on the culverts. We had some bad weather in the middle of the project. We had some delays because we were rethinking some design things, but nothing that was their fault, quite frankly.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Jens. Any other questions from the board? Matt, good to go?
I'm good. I'm good.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. I'll call the question. All in favor in the room?
Aye.
Mr. Hoy? It's an aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Nice, Janice.
All right, thank
Good
you.
luck. Next item is number 8. Consider to take possible action to award a contract for the Affordable Housing Commission video to Inc. Ink and Pixel in the amount of 70. I think that's a descriptor of the
That's the name of
ongoing
the company.
project.
That's
I
the
got
name of the
that.
company, yeah.
To fund the video.
We have two people here who can tell you everything.
Thank you. Hello. Affordable Housing reps.
I'm Peter Colburn, 57 Meadow Hills Drive, on the Global Housing Commission.
And Mary Jo Kessner, 131 Boston Street.
So we have been working to get in a position to update the video that we've got for the Affordable Housing Commission. It was made last one was made in 2016 at a cost of $7,500. We looked at 3 vendors and interviewed them, asked them to provide proposals, and Ink and Pixel came out at the highest amount. I'll provide this information to you if you want. Providing background information on these. There you go. In any case, they were at 15,000. We also spoke with Direct Line Media, which is in Brantford. They provided a proposal that ranged from 7,100 to 11,000 and Rise at 6,500. In evaluating these, Ink and Pixel was far and away most capable of doing what we think needs to be done, which was really producing a video that provides us with the opportunity to present to the public what our focus is, which is trying to create a better sense of belonging and home for people that would like to live here. And our focus is on people that are part of the community, those people like teachers, public employees, police officers, fire department, people that work for our local businesses that can't afford to live here. And that helps strengthen the community by giving people a foothold in the community they serve, rather than just coming here to work and to provide, whatever services they do. The Ink and Pixel, in addition to doing the work to prepare the video and provide it, also is willing to work with us to help hone the message, which is more effective service than what we see coming from these others. We've received grants from 3 different organizations, the Guilford Foundation, Ascend Bank, and Guilford Rotary at $7,900. We also have additional money coming in the future from a project that's being constructed in town to the tune of $512,000. So this money eventually can come from that, but we'll need the money in advance of receiving that.
To back up one step from that, we've been a commission for over a year, but in the last budget cycle, we had no funds delegated to our commission for the year. This is the second year that that's the situation, but also we're unique in that there's a trust fund. The town has an affordable housing trust fund, and there was recently an amendment made to that so that funds that are put into that fund can be used for educational purposes or to help with affordable housing. One of the unique opportunities we have with education is to be able to reach a number of people. There's a lot of stuff going on in the state right now that's exciting, and we've been at this for, as a commission, a year, but as a committee and a working group for probably more than 15 years. And so we've got a lot of public input, and now we're ready to really dig in and ask people some more interesting questions about paths we can take to address things. And so we would really like the help of Ink and Pixel. We know that their cost was a little higher. We think that they are absolutely equipped to help us do what we need with optimism and joy, which is something that's missing from our conversation. And so we're hoping that you will support this. What Peter alluded to was that there is, with the new zoning, a fee in lieu of proposal for the Planning and Zoning Commission to consider when there are housing developments that incorporate more than 5 units of housing. Right now, the Eagle View subdivision on Whitfield Street has proposed an alteration that will make a contribution to that fund, and we expect those funds will offset this ask. And we are really hoping to get this project off the ground immediately, and so we hope you'll consider funding it.
So I think I'm hearing this, but I want to just be clear. Is the suggestion here that between the grants that have already been committed and this alternate funding that may come from the zoning process that we now have in place where people can make these payments in lieu of certain events, right? That we may not have to actually expend the $7,500? Is that what I'm hearing?
We'll need the money up front.
You need it up front.
We're gonna spend it now, but I think it's up to our board, once the 500,000 plus comes in, we could pay ourselves back if we wanted to. We wanted to pull the 75 out of that, but that money isn't here yet.
Understand.
And we really, this video is necessary, and we're just, when I say we now, speaking as a member of the commission myself, we're hoping that we can sort of borrow the money from ourselves, even though we don't have it yet.
Got it. Understood. And if I'm up, go ahead, Matt. No worries. Sorry.
Sandy and MJ, thank you for explaining the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. That agreement between planning and zoning and the developer was the first of its kind, designed to do exactly what we are proposing to do here with this allocation. And as MJ said, we changed the ordinance a couple of weeks ago to reflect the short-sightedness that we had when we first put the ordinance together, to allow for some of those fee in lieu of payments to go towards the general promotion of affordable housing. MJ will or has already set up a receivable for the 512 or whatever that number is that will be coming our way as a result of the approval of the Eagles Nest development. So this is not unusual. We self-fund most of our smaller bond projects over the years. That's a rather typical process, and if anyone wants to talk to MJ about that, I'm sure she'd be happy to fill you in. But this is
the other MJ.
I'm sorry.
Right.
That's right. Two MJs in one meeting.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it's a tried and true practice that we've done for years and will continue to do.
Got it. Go ahead.
The contract is for 15.
Yes.
So that would be the motion to approve a contract for 15, right? Because the town approves contracts.
I believe that the nonprofits that have and for-profits that have already contributed money to this project has been received from the town.
I understand, but we're approving executing a contract for 15,000.
That is the contract amount.
Yeah, you concur with that clarification there?
Yes, I do. We are approving entering into the contract with the anticipation of utilization of up to $7,500 in funding from the Guilford Affordable Housing Trust Fund. That's probably the way the motion should go.
And the other balance is already received, and the town is holding the money from these three organizations. Yeah.
There's one more clarification, and that is that there's an in-kind donation as part of this of $20,000
by the contract.
By the contractor. Correct.
Did any of the others offer to do that, or
no?
So that kind of goes along with what you're saying about the spirit of this organization and how they kind of get what you're trying to do and enthusiastic.
Yeah, and it's more than spirit because they're actually providing additional work.
Which is what? Like production work?
Production work, yes.
So
and
not
also
just video, running a video, they're actually they're actually crafting the message we're working for.
Exactly.
We're a bunch of well-meaning volunteers, but this is someone who knows how to communicate and they need those services.
Right.
Understood. So there's a public relations component to this.
Yeah.
And at least part of that 20,000 in-kind donation is their ability to craft and deliver a message.
Correct.
And then reduce it to a video.
Mhm.
Whereas, is it fair to say some of the lower bidders were producing a video?
That's correct.
And we're relying on the commission to get their message together.
Gotcha.
So that explains the difference
It
in
does.
why you're recommending a higher bidder.
Right.
We're getting more.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
We'll get something
Qualitatively
more effective.
Okay, can I get a motion on the floor as you probably are closest?
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
Okay, so for the.
Give it another
I
pass.
would like to second it.
Very good. Is that clear enough, Brandon? You got us?
Yep, I've
Go
got
to,
you.
yeah. Thank you.
One more clarification.
Yes, absolutely. We got a motion and a second on the floor, so further discussion.
Yeah, what is the status of the funding to the trust from the developer? Is that just a matter of time, or are there more approvals that they need to get in place?
The exact fee will be set when they apply for a building permit, which should be this spring. And then the funds won't be paid until they're ready for a certificate of occupancy, which would be at least 6 or 8 months after that.
Okay. Matt, you have anything else online?
No, I think we've covered it.
Sounds good. Anyone else in the room?
So I have a lot of concerns about the way the state and the towns are approaching affordable housing. And I'm worried a little bit about the video, sort of gonna just promote their approach as being, the only possible solution. I see it as a market condition problem, mostly for supply. I would really like to see the private sector be empowered to create, to develop new housing in an easy way without a lot of regulation. And then, I'm always concerned when you take from Peter to pay Paul. Paul always seems to vote for that, but maybe that's not the best solution. So I'm sorry, I'm not in support of the video. I appreciate, though, that you've looked at the bidders and the work you've done to get the donations and so forth. And then I would agree with you that this particular bid, even though it's higher, is presenting a better value. So appreciate the analysis.
I think when you see the final product, we've been discussing this video for years, plus we have the one from 2016, which is still makes sense if you look at it. And this is long before the state got involved with the housing bill that passed. So this is not to promote the state housing bill, although, however, there may be threads from what this commission is trying to do, plus what the state is trying to do. So this is more of an educative process of this video to try to continue to explain to people what affordable housing means and how it is beneficial in the long run. Anybody can correct what I'm saying.
No, and as an anecdote, I'd just like to say, there's some things like fair share where they say, well, Guilford should produce more than 1,000 units of housing. But if you knew that on average for the last 5 years, we produced 20 units of housing, what do you think the right number is? And it's about having the right information for the average person to be able to weigh in. And that's what we need to get to make a good decision.
Good points. Thank you. Thank you.
And I'm just going to observe, because this has come up before, and the market has literally gotten us to this point with regard to housing, and especially affordable housing, which still remains a little bit of a loaded term, but I don't think we're picturing affordable housing the way that would have been defined in the 1970s, right?
We're looking at housing that at all levels to broaden the scope of what's available.
In particular, that middle segment.
Yes, a variety of housing at a variety of price points. That's what we're looking to do.
And this would be a topic for a much bigger forum, and I'd be thrilled to be part of that. I mean, but just the anecdotes are legion of why the market itself is not the answer to this problem. I mean, New York City, I just saw an article in the Wall Street Journal last week, something like the 24 months in a row, the number of apartment units has been reduced in New York City as a result of the market drive to have bigger and I don't want to say luxurious, but they're more luxurious spaces. And people are taking 2, sometimes 3 units, combining them into one. So they're literally taking, as this crisis is exacerbated, and this is just one anecdote, doesn't necessarily apply here, but it's emblematic, I think, of why, as I tried to look at this problem, why the market doesn't do a great job. In fact, makes it worse in many cases. So markets are coming off. So someone who can afford it, and God bless them, buys 2 or 3 apartments, combines them into one unit, and has the family live there, which for that person is probably great, but not so great for the other 3 people that wanted to live in that neighborhood. So some intervention is necessary. The town has done a great job. We have an amazingly dedicated and focused group of people who are helping advance this. The state has committed to advancing this, and we're moving ahead in fits and starts. So I think it's important to get all this message out. And for I'm in favor of supporting the work of this great commission. So there you go, another lecture.
Yeah.
As Matt would say, soapbox away.
And some good information there. I just wanted to comment on your comment about affordable kind of being a little bit of a loaded term. And I'm not an expert on the bill, but I think there's a formula based on income. And what you might find is with our program, it's a little more affordable maybe for someone with average Guilford income salary, but maybe not affordable across the state or the country in terms of real estate prices. But anyway, some good comments, Lou. I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, thank you. You're welcome. Okay. And I don't want to cut off any other discussion. If anybody on the board has anything else, good. Call the question on this motion to approve the $15,000 contract. Yes. All in favor? Aye. Mr. Hawley online?
Aye.
Yay. In favor?
Aye.
I think Sandy made a great point. Maybe this is not what I expected, so I'll just abstain, take a look, kind of wait and see. And I know you're doing a good job trying to find someone to produce a quality video. So you just kind of feel it out a little.
Great. Okay. So 1 abstention. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
It would be.
So consider and take pot number 10. Consider and take. No, I jumped ahead. Number 9. Consider and take possible action to award a contract for buses to the 2026 Get Out Way Out camp to DATCO in the amount of $43,515. Who do we have to speak for the camp? No one. Matt, did you have anything you wanted to comment on this?
Pam, I believe Pam is online. She'll handle it.
Sorry about that.
I am.
Pam?
Hi.
Hello.
Morning.
Morning.
Yes, so we are at our annual time where we are getting ready for summer camps, and Get Out Way Out is one of our most popular camps. And we go out to get quotes on bus services for this particular camp. And as you can see with the chart I provided, DATCO was the only one that provided all the costs for each trip at the total of 43,515, I believe. And we like to get the
That's what it says. Yes. Okay. So with that presentation, thank you. Can I get a motion for or against this request?
So moved with a comment that.
Favor of this? Okay.
Yes. You found a lot of places to go in Connecticut.
Yes. I'm sure it's challenging every year.
Some of them I never heard of.
Okay. Can we get a second?
I'll second it.
Thanks. Moved and second. Any further comment on this?
Dan, I just want to make sure I understood the other companies really are not providing a detailed bid, and this is really the only complete and satisfied bill answer to the request.
Correct. Cassie, who got the quotes, isn't here today. However, I can attest that someone like Peter Pan just obviously didn't have the dates available to give her the quotes. But if you see even the quotes they did provide, they are much higher than DATCO. DATCO has provided this service in the past to us. I'm sure they're familiar with the operation. And then, of course, the third bus company didn't provide anything. So it was a no quote.
Okay. And then we've been doing this year after year, right? You said it's one of our more popular programs.
Yes, it's been quite popular for many years now, and it services a group of kids in their teenage years that quite honestly we usually don't have that much programming for them at that age. So this is astonishing that we get this many kids at that age group for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
I actually think it's kind of great. Are we filling all the buses is kind of what I was driving towards.
They're
in the
already
past.
filled. We have waiting lists for every trip.
Okay, great.
Super.
Yeah.
Thanks, Pam.
Thank
Any
you.
further questions or comments for Pam? Okay, we have a motion seconded. Do we have a second?
I think so.
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. All in favor in the room?
Aye.
Mr. Hoy?
Aye.
Thank you. Brings us to the pension committee. Hello.
Hello.
I'm going to just read this. Consider to take possible action on the recommendation of the pension committee to increase the pension discount rate from 5.75 to 6%. If you could give us and certainly those watching a little bit of a primer. I think Matt's going to want to be heard quickly before you guys get started.
Yes, I do. Thank you, Lou. I know Mary Jane and Mitch will cover it in more detail, but this is the manifestation of something we put in place several years ago when our discount rate, which is our assumed interest earnings rate on our pension assets, we were one of the first to start aggressively moving that assumption rate lower. And I believe at one point we were in the 7.5 range. Many years ago, the number used to be 8. I think the state may still be using a discount rate of 7.5 to 8%. What that does is that if you reduce that rate, which we opted to do in a series of cuts over an extended period of time, we took it down by 25 basis points or a quarter each year over a period of 5 or 6 years. And we got it down to arguably one of the lowest in the state. And Mitch and MJ can talk about that at 5.75. What that did was that it increase the contributions made by the town because you have a lower assumption in terms of what you're going to earn. Once the effect of that, the cumulative effect of that occurred, we were earning, and the market was earning higher. We have pensions that are all now funded in the 80% in 80% range, which is among the better rates across the state from other municipalities. So you'll hear, I think, in a minute that this is a recommendation of our actuary as well as the pension committee. But I just wanted to tee that up that this is something that we are able to do now, which is relieving some burden on the upcoming budget cycle to the tune of about $475,000. And that's split between the board, as I think most people in this room know, split between the town and the Board of Education. But again, this is one of those things that we put in place to correct the situation of lower funding levels on our pensions. And now we're at a point where it's more conservative than it needs to be, and we're moving it back up. Thank you.
Okay, well,
Not sure what else to add to that.
So he just gave our whole report.
Thanks, man.
Let's give you a little bit more than answer any questions. This is actually really good news, especially in a time we have a very difficult, as you well know, a very difficult budget year. This is welcome news for us this year. Kind of fell into our laps, so to speak. We go and give all our information on pension to Milliman each year to do what they call an actuarial valuation. And our representative from Milliman comes to the pension committee each year to present that. And this year, unlike what we've seen year after year about having to lower our assumption rate or our interest rate, as it's called, this year the recommendation was to raise it. And Matt gave you the results of doing that. It's because we've had such very good returns over the last couple of years, and Mary Jane will explain this better than I can about, my push was to just continue where we are, just keep it going. We're doing great. And the push was, well, we shouldn't be burdening taxpayers today for something that should be pushed off till tomorrow and tomorrow's taxpayers. Although You know, this is the opposite of what you see with many pension plans, even in the States, where it's the people pushing the can down the road. And we have taken the bull by the horns here and really have turned it around to the point where it's working in our favor so that we can increase as opposed to reduce the interest rate at a very favorable result for us. And the results I provided to you should be on board for each of the three plans to show the differences of moving from the current baseline to the interest rate of 6%. Mary Jane?
Yeah, so I'll just add that, throughout the budget process, after the Board of Finance cuts, you did, we did present and you accepted the reduction in the pension line of $340,736, and it is a in direct response to this. As Mitch mentioned, he was not in favor necessarily of moving it because the 5.75 has done well for us. And my opinion was not necessarily based on the savings. It was based on the fact that we are able to reduce the burden on taxpayers moving forward with an appropriate move. If we were not bringing in the interest, this would not be the right move to make. But for those two reasons, the recommendation came from the pension committee. And again, there is some savings on the Board of Ed side. And again, the savings at the Board of Ed and that we're presenting aren't necessarily this valuation to valuation, but it is budget to budget for the upcoming year.
And just finally, two quick things I want to mention. The pension committee unanimously voted to recommend this to the board, but they can't take the action. The action has to be taken by the Board of Selectmen, which is why it's here today. And the second thing is, anyone who's listening that is on our pension plan should have no fear. The pensions will be paid. We're in very good shape for doing so, and we'll continue to do so based on this recommendation.
And I'll point out that the pension committee made their vote unanimously to recommend that we do this on February 18th, which was after we voted on our budget. That's
Correct. I just wrote that down as well.
Right, yes, and that's a very good point, Sue. That was when Milliman came and made the presentation. So we did not have this information prior to your original budget vote. If you remember when I presented, or we presented the employee benefits budget, we did note that we left the pension amounts equal to the regular budget, knowing that we didn't have those numbers yet. So yes, good point.
And did Milliman recommend 6% as opposed to, we have it here an alternative for a higher percent? They recommended 6.
They also recommended we could go as much as 6.25. The philosophy of the pension committee, the same reason as we brought it down, was to bring it up no more than 0.25 basis points each year. We will look at this again next year and make a similar recommendation, whether it stays the same, whether we go back down, whether we go up. Every single year we look at this. For the past couple of years, as we've brought it down, they did not recommend that a change be made to the discount rate. This is the year, for the reasons we've said, that they were able to do so.
Okay, and that 25 basis points rule, where's that?
It's no rule.
It's the policy.
It's just what they've done to, I believe they're afraid if we go too far in one direction, then the following year we'll bring it back down. So 0.25 is just a safe move. And then they, again, look at that every year. So maybe it's another 0.25 up or down the following year. But we have the same conversation with our actuaries every single year.
Yeah, I wanted to make a comment. So that the err on the side of caution is always great, Mitch. So I can understand where you're like, hey, if we stay here, we're on solid ground. But then at the same time, Matt is telling us comparatively that we're very conservative position already. The pension committee agrees. But what would be important to me would be experience. I would assume that Pam bases her formulas on experience. So she's telling us that 6 is reasonable based on what we've been earning.
It's based on the valuation year over year, correct?
Okay. So there's some ammunition there
and where the pension
going that way
and where it stands at this point.
Okay.
Who's Pam? No, Milliman.
Oh, Millman, I was
No,
trying
it's
to.
Oh, no. This is
Milliman's,
totally different.
our actuaries are Milliman Company,
Oh.
national,
That's a coincidence.
Yeah, it's just,
Oh, okay.
well,
Sorry about
you're
that. I
referring
meant,
to
Millman.
You're referring to Van Millman, who used to be our town attorney a number of years ago.
no connection.
This is Jen
Sorry about
Castano.
that. I meant
Yes.
Millman who does, yeah.
Yes.
Our outside pension advisors.
Actuary, yeah.
Actuaries,
yeah.
Yeah, that's her name's in my
I
head.
got
Yes.
it. All set here?
Yeah, yeah.
Good. But Matt, you had something?
Yeah, I do. It needs to be noted that we started having these conversations with Millman over a year ago because they were spotting some trends. So this is not completely new. And then there's one, I think we forgot to mention that our pension consultant also has been talking to us about this and our capacity to move it up over the last couple of years. So it's the actuary, our pension consultant advisors, as well as the pension committee have recommended it. And one of the things I just wanted to mention, this is in reaction to the conversation or the public forum that the gentleman put forward, was talking about a 6.15% budget increase. It's a matter of timing, right? As MJ just said, that report or that story was based on what we had submitted prior to knowing that we had the opportunity, or not knowing, we knew we always had the opportunity, but it was prior to us looking seriously at moving the discount rate up. So one of the things that Brendan and I will be doing is making sure that the reporter for the Guilford Courier has new numbers that are reflective of this change and the change that the Board of Finance made. So it is no longer a 6.15% increase. And MJ, I'm sure you probably have a number there that you can share with us either now or during your presentation on finances.
At some future moment, not at this second, it sounds like. But thanks. Yeah, that's a great point, Matt. That's kind of why, obviously we're in budget season. I wanted that opportunity for that person to be heard. So I have one last comment on this, and I really don't mean to be quibbling. We keep calling it interest, more than interest. It's the rate of return on this investment, right? So it's it's the experience that we've been seeing over the last several years. Right. You know, we, as Matt pointed out many years ago, we decrease this expected rate of return in order to fund more money, all of which has now made the accounts super healthy.
Yeah,
correct.
Colloquial.
Right. It is the overall picture of the pension. It is most easily understandable to equate it to an interest rate.
Fair enough. Yeah. But
You're absolutely right.
Quibbling. I don't want people to think we're just taking this and sitting in a money market. This money, pension committee does a great job. Our outside advisors do a great job diversifying all this money, maximizing our total return.
For sure. We have one of the best.
We do. That's one reason why we're able to do this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we really do.
Credit where it's due.
I got one more, which I think is just a comment on how good a job they're doing. But the funded ratio in the 6% column for the Guilford employees looks like it's 92.4. Is that right? So their actuarials feel like we're funded to over 90% on that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty strong.
It's very strong. It's on the town side. Just to be fair, Jonathan, you point out that's the town side. The police are would be 83%, and the school board would be 77.2. But overall, if you put it all together, over 80% puts you in really good shape. Remember, people get concerned about, well, why aren't we 100%? The reason we're not 100% is we're not paying out everyone's pension today. Okay, there are people who are on pension plan that are still working, so we don't have to be 100% today. At the time that everybody is being in pay status, you need to be at 100%. So, but that graph is continuously moving upward towards 100% since the plan is closed, and it's getting to the point where we're on an upward trajectory, and we continue to be so even by raising this interest rate.
Okay, excellent side effect of the DCP is that the defined contribution.
That's defined. This defined benefit
taking over the defined benefit.
Yeah, correct.
I hate to ask this. Did we get a motion yet? I don't think we did. I think we jumped right in.
Did we jump in the conversation?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll second.
Very good. Any further discussion, questions, or comments? Hoy, no? Okay, those in the room? Aye.
Aye.
This change. Mr. Hoy?
Aye.
Another aye. Passes. Thank you all. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
I think you guys are gonna, at least one of you is gonna stick around.
She's sticking around.
The bond council, that brings us to 12. No, sorry,
11.
I'm jumping around.
11.
11. So we do have to, discuss and take possible action on the bond resolutions as prepared by bond council, for consideration at the April 21, 2026 referendum. And these are for school board authorization, bonding authorizations.
Correct. So this is an amount first brought forward and approved obviously by the Board of Education, and subsequently approved by the Board of Finance at their last meeting. So now we are prepared to move forward to referendum. So both you and the Board of Finance will approve this resolution. They'll do theirs tonight, this same resolution. So we're just looking for your approval on this at this point.
Great, thanks.
I'll make that motion.
Great.
Second.
Okay, and most of us, thank you all. Most of us had a chance to hear from the Board of Education at the presentations before. The Board of Finance, Board of Ed is also makes their information readily available. Does anybody have any questions or comments about approving these authorizations?
I just want to note to the public that, I may not 100% agree with the budget. I may feel like there's more room to cut, but I definitely agree that we need to prepare the resolutions for the referendum. So I just didn't want them to confuse that as a complete acceptance of every line of every budget.
Fair enough. That's great. Okay, any further questions or comments then? In that case, call the question. All those in the room in favor of advancing these to the referendum, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Hoy?
Aye.
Okay, that passes. And then we have consider and take possible action on FY26 debt budget transfers.
No.
Do I keep missing things?
Yeah.
Sorry, notice of town meeting. There was two in one budget.
Right.
So can I get a motion on the notice of town meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, this is the procedural step of having our charter obligation to have a town meeting on the budget, which we should say the date.
It's at the high school, right?
April 7th.
Thank you.
April 7th.
April 7th at the high school. Good point. Any other administrative details we should say out loud?
Well, it also includes the referendum for April 21st.
Those both of them.
It's all inclusive in this document. It outlines the two questions, question on the budget and the question on the bond authorization that you just approved. It's all outlined here. On top of that, it includes where all the polling places are. It just gives us the legal authority to move forward with both of those things.
Fantastic. Thank you. And this all information also happens to be available on our town website if people click through, just in terms of the administrative information of what's being acted on here.
Yes.
Yes, good. Thank you. Okay.
And I just asked for my own clarification, but for anybody else listening, the vote itself is the 21st, but the budget meeting is the 7th, and the day after that, absentee ballots will be available for those who might not be in town on the 21st, but still wish to vote.
Great point.
Good point.
Okay. Did we get a motion?
Yes.
Yes, and a second.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. All in favor of those in the room?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Hoy?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. That passes and the schedule is set. Thank you. Now I get the 13. Consider and take possible action on FY26 debt budget transfers.
Yep. So this is what we kind of discuss month after month when you see our debt budgets overdrawn on the budgetary side. We do each year apply some of our premium credits that we receive when we actually go out to bond. We apply that to our budget to mitigate the increase overall in that line item. So this, my request is to make a transfer from our reserve so that we can close the gap on our budget.
Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Thank you. Any further questions, comments? Or
I was just curious without looking, which I probably could have. Is that all the the money we have in reserve for premium and issuance costs, or we have more?
No, we have more. We have close to $1 million that I have allocated for the next couple of years. If you recall my graph, as Mitch calls it, MJ's favorite graph, you'll see.
On the smooth.
Well, you'll see in, I think it's FY31 where it drops. But in order to keep that smoothing before that drop, that's what we use these credits for.
Okay, sorry.
So that as we go out to bond each year, we're not increasing our budget too much. So hopefully we'll have enough credits to meet that FY30 year before we get that drop.
Okay. So, no further questions, comments? Thank you again for that. So all in favor of the motion, consider and take possible action on the budget transfers?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Hoy?
Aye.
Matt? Aye, thank you. That brings us to MJ again. Review and approve the report of expenditures for the town of Guilford for February 2026.
Okay, before I get into the revenues and expenditures, I just wanted to announce that tonight at the Board of Finance meeting, the first item on the agenda is the review of the FY25 audit. So if anybody's looking for something to do at 7:30 this evening, log on to the Board of Finance meeting to hear that presentation.
No, you're still printing those cappers. Does that come out now? When does that book come out?
Well, we only print a couple copies. You would already have it.
It's on board.
It's on board. So if you want to download it, you have it. We only print the copies that, we need in our offices because
Printing is expensive.
printing is expensive. So.
I'm sorry, just a very small question, but the town increase though, was it 5.23, the budget increase for the town?
I don't have that with me,
Okay,
Jonathan, so I'm not gonna quote.
Point out to someone that we were below the
Yeah.
6 because
And unless Matt has, I don't have,
education was a little higher.
I brought my computer with,
All right, I'll get you on that
I'm gonna
later.
say it would be on onboard.
I was going to point all those things out too. That's not,
Okay.
that was fine. And everybody's, certainly with the headlines, I didn't hit people, but obviously there's multiple components to the budget before we get to the actual
I just think
tax increase.
it would have been a good thing for us to respond to some of his points. I mean, because I felt, it's an increase, we know that, and it is a higher increase than it has been, but the way that he presented it and the way that it really is slightly different. And I didn't know.
More than slightly, but I think all we can do, people are going to take what they take from various outside sources. Whether that would be immediately received. I mean, it's public forum. We're not supposed to be going back and forth with this. So thought about it. We can discuss it here at any point. Get the, get business at the end. Somebody can clarify these points. How's that?
Sure.
All right. Thanks for that diversion, MJ. You've got the floor again. So we're talking money.
Keep going. So through the end of February already, which is about 67% through our year, we are 97.7% collected overall and 98.2 collected just on the town side. An increase year over year in both of those areas. I don't necessarily have any particular concerns or comments unless you have any specific questions.
Can I just point out one line which you probably explained before? Overall, we're fine, right? We're ahead of the game, but the building department's a little behind and wasn't sure why.
Well, that's
probably mentioned it before.
That represents, permits. We do have a large project coming forward, which we anticipate will bring that line item. Yes.
Okay.
We budget year over year based on historical amounts based on what we know is coming, but something like permits is based on how many people walk through the door. But like I said, we do anticipate a larger project coming forward, which might shore that budget.
Okay, so we'll probably be right on when
that's our goal.
That comes in.
That's our goal.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
Revenue.
So that's on revenue. Thank you. Next.
On the expenditure side, bring your eyes to the very bottom where you'll see the two debt items that are overdrawn, but you've approved that request today on the assumption that the Board of Finance approves that this evening. The next time you see this report, you won't have those overages. Just above that, is a capital. It is showing overages. There are a number of items there that we have approved from fund balance, things like, working on the front of town hall, which needed to be done, 52 Church Street, and some plans and studies that are being done by planning and zoning. All of those items will be coming from the savings we have in fund balance, but they will show over for now until we do that at the end of the year.
Those are various designated funds.
Those are the designated funds, yes. Couple other items I just wanted to bring to your attention. Of course, we're always looking at the fire department. Fire department doing better this year than they have in prior years. Their full-time salaries are below projections right now, although overtime and replacement salaries are higher. But year over year, we are trying to bring that to where it needs to be. And they're at 72% and we're at 68% through the year. So like I said, they are doing better this year than they have in the past. Next item I have is Public Works. So the overtime line item is one of the items that we discussed during budget season. We did cut that budget last year because the last couple of years have been so good for snow removal. You'll see that we are currently 262% over that budget, or 77%. I guess I'll say the good news is February is over. So obviously we still have overtime events. It could be a tree down somewhere, or an accident, could be anything. So snow being over doesn't mean overtime is done, but hopefully the large amounts of overtime we are complete with, and we have shored up that line item for next year. Some of the other items that Public Works has overdrawn, you'll notice that we do have encumbrances that more than cover the overages. As I explained, other times we do put purchase orders in for a number of vendors to allow our departments the autonomy to pick what they need. Come the end of the year, we start to close those purchase orders out. So we do not anticipate these line items being over. At this point, they're just showing that, which is because it's how our encumbrance system is showing it. So that's Public Works. Got one more little tabby on my sheet here. So, yeah. Park and Rec. Hands on. So I want overtime in Park and Rec. Again, that is snow overtime because our Park and Rec department manages a lot of our snow removal as well. So that overage is mainly due to snow. Again, that overtime doesn't mean it stops. Things could happen again through Park and Rec. And they also have a number of purchase orders out, which more than cover the overages in their budget line items. Same thing that I expressed with Public Works. Those are the things I wanted to bring to your attention. Gladly answer any other questions.
Questions, comments? Anyone else? Okay, can I get a motion to approve the report of expenditures for town government, which is?
We don't need to do that.
Oh, okay, then I'll take your word for that.
Definitely be me.
Board of Finance does.
Okay, fantastic. So even though this says that, okay, we'll leave that to the Board of Finance to approve the expenditures. Thanks for the report.
So any questions on warrants
We're gonna hit medical.
or medical? Okay, I can talk about medical.
I don't want to cut short warrants if anybody has anything.
No, any questions on
Good,
warrants?
okay.
I was curious about one thing.
Yep.
And I just happened to see that we buy the solar powered stop signs. And I think obviously that's pretty cool, especially when we get a new one. I think maybe they light up. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we
But I
put
was also
those
wondering,
up when it's like a new stop sign so that it's people really know what's going on.
Have it.
I was also gonna just comment though, is it cheaper to just buy the standard stop sign?
Well, that we, I don't know if Dave is on, but I believe we only use those in those circumstances. Oh, okay, go ahead. Right, we only use them.
To respond to that.
Yeah, okay.
The board would like me to.
Sure, by all means.
Yes.
So those are not in lieu of a standard stop sign. They certainly are a lot more expensive than a standard stop sign, but we put those in places to assist with the educational component of adding a new stop sign in certain locations.
River Street, for instance.
River Street, we've used them up on Stepstone, Clabber Hill Road, we made a four-way intersection years past. So those are really critical items. We move around for educational purposes. It draws extra attention to stop sign. That isn't a permanent fixture, so we can move them around. But we did purchase some more so that we constantly have them available so that we can use them as needed.
Right, and that's the point I was gonna make, that, you know, we move them around. We're not buying them for every intersection. We use them for that purpose.
Stepstone was a long process for folks to get used to that.
Yeah.
That was a tricky intersection. Still is a tricky intersection. I think it's better. But the idea of those flashers made a huge, huge difference. And I would just comment in rebuttal, the cost of one accident prevented.
Yeah.
Probably, you know, it doesn't save the town that money, but as a collective, we are probably all better off having a safer
One at North and
intersection.
State too, because that was sort of.
North and State is equally tricky.
Yeah.
Wasn't exactly a question for you, sorry, but that one just stood out a little bit to me this time around.
Nope, I knew enough about that to answer the question.
You guys are student too, by the way.
I know a little bit about everything. I don't know.
A lot of them.
I don't know a lot of bit about everything.
Medical.
On the medical fund, you'll see February, was, slightly higher than January and still higher than our monthly. Of course, this is the time of year where we do expect our expenses to be, greater than our monthly, budget, because people have paid. The assumption is people have paid their portion of their deductibles, and now the town's plan, is covering that. Admin is higher this month. We have a specific admin that only comes in certain times of the year, and we got hit with it here in February. On the catastrophic claims side, we have an increase of 4 members that have hit the halfway mark of 87.5, and we have 2 additional members that have gone over the stop loss of 175,000. We're at about 43% of that. You go down to the bottom, I am showing at the moment a projected deficit of about $275,000, leaving a small budget balance in our fund balance that only covers, you know, a portion of the months moving forward. So as we have suspected moving forward, we may have a deficit. My trend is that we will have a deficit in this fund, so we will have to take care of that in the future, and we continue to monitor it. So we'll see how that goes.
That's a quick one on that.
Yep.
So ideally, we want maybe 2 months. I think you said you were comfortable with. Maybe it was 3.
Well, I like to have 3. I'd be happy to have 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that mean possibly a transfer? Right?
Correct. If the budget goes over, then be my recommendation moving forward to transfer from our undesignated fund balance to shore up the medical fund.
Okay. And then, I mean, that's part of why it's there. So
part of why it's there. Mm-hmm.
That's also why in the past we've had and sort of protected to the extent that we can a separate balance in medical account. I mean, we've had
for many years,
surplus for a long time,
right?
And it's just goes to show you how one sort of difficult year can really erode that.
Yeah, it's
2.
Yeah, it's really 2. You know, we had a bad year last year. Luckily, we had the fund balance there to cover it.
Yeah.
You know, to have it covered 2 years in a row, that was probably asking a bit much of the fund balance in the medical. But we
small but mighty.
Right. Rest assured, the town will be covering its medical payments for our employees, regardless.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you for that. Anything else for MJ? Anyone? Matt, you good?
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
For here.
Reggie.
Morning.
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 Good morning.
Thanks for sitting through all that.
It was our pleasure. So just thank you for having us this morning. I have Lieutenant Bernier here with me. I also have Commissioner Joyce here, and Dave DeMayo, who is the chairman of the Standing Building Committee, is online. I see him in the little thumbnail up there. So we're here this morning to discuss the police facility, just to give a little recap of how we got to this point today. A few years ago, we started to take a look at some of the projects that would be needed to renovate and update the building, given that it was approaching 30 years in age. The building was put into service in 1996. Some of the areas that we were taking a look at in particular involved the structure itself, the roof, windows, doors, site security, and then we also were taking a look at just spaces as well in the facility and starting to look at how we can prepare ourselves best for the future. That project, we began working with the Standing Building Committee. I know we've been in front of the Board of Selectmen as well to discuss the trajectory of that project, and it's been a little bit of a slow roll. We've had a little bit of a learning curve just to try to get our heads around the extent of what is really needed for this project. We started with a needs assessment through Silver Petroselli, which was a renovation as new type project where we would be renovating the current facility. The cost of that, when we were presented with the needs assessment, was rather high. It was approaching $20 million. Some of the concern is that doesn't even fully capture necessarily the needs moving forward of the department out into the future. So where we are today, as a result of numerous meetings and consultation with the Standing Building Committee as well, we have another proposal in front of the board for a programming and space needs study that is also going to morph into a facility program development plan to the tune of, it's a 3-phase project. The total is $36,000. But where it starts is that it's going to take a look at our actual program assessment. It's going to take a look at our staffing programming needs in terms of the space needs really, and what we're looking to do as a police department for serving the community in terms of office spaces, women's locker room, things like that. Just space needs also for vehicle storage, which we've talked about before. Some of the specialized equipment we have really should be best kept indoors so that it's not constantly out in the elements, reducing the value exponentially. So this plan that we have in front of you is, again, it starts with the program assessment. They're going to come in, take a look at what we really need in the building, look at the needs, not just now, but into the future so that we're planning ahead. And then what they're going to do is the second phase, they'll be looking at building out what a new build project would look like from a cost standpoint. And really the most critical portion of this, and in my opinion, is that it's going to be able to allow the town the opportunity to analyze the cost of renovating as new of the current facility versus what a new build would cost, so that we can make the most fiscally responsible decision with taxpayer dollars. And I think that about sums up what I have to present it. If anybody else has anything or any questions?
Just to add, the renovation, when we did the needs assessment, if you look at it this way, it would renovate roughly 35 to maybe 40% of the building, meaning the rest of the building would eventually need the same renovation to double or triple that cost, which makes it almost, financially not worth doing. The steps that they took and what they offered us in this program would get us to kind of where we need to be today and not where we need to be tomorrow. The building was built 30 years ago. At the time, it was cutting edge. We did not really account for the exponential growth that our PD has gone through with the growth of town, the call volume, the overall size of the agency that has grown over the last couple of years and will definitely need to grow over the next several years with all the upcoming commerce in town, the new building, new commercial areas, the transient traffic that's going to come through town is going to impact us greatly. And as it is right now, we have people working on the closets, literally. So to plan for the future and have the space for the P to grow, to give the type of services that this town demands of us, we need an appropriate workspace, which just doesn't exist. And the rebuilding of the space we have is really not going to be efficient, I think is what you'll ultimately find it.
I would say from a commission standpoint, our board chair, Bob Welch, has asked fellow Commissioner Carrie Federici and myself to be a building committee, in essence, to assist the chief in the research. We all know the issues, and they need to be corrected with a rational plan. So with this proposal, we see this as a critical step in defining the options we have to consider going forward. Then we can, of course, all meet and talk about that and understand the implications. But this is a critical step in the process of dealing with a serious issue we have with that police facility, and the commission fully supports this.
Thanks, Mr. Joyce. Can I get a motion to approve this $36,000 expenditure to retain SPA architects to prepare this facility study? That's what we're looking for here today.
I'll make the motion for discussion purposes.
I'll second it.
Okay. Yeah. Anything else from the board? Matt, you look like you want to say something. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah. If we wouldn't mind, I'd like Dave DeMayo to, as chair standing building committee, to say a few words and just give us his opinion, which is an industry expert opinion relative to the options that have been explored and we're going to continue to explore. Don't mean to put you on the spot, but I know you're capable of doing it.
Thank you, Matt. I think the chief did a really good job summing up the challenges. You know, the needs assessment clearly identified a lot of areas where the building's in failure, and it did actually address adding square footage to the building at various locations on the building that are quite expensive to do because they're small additions, and they don't necessarily capture the full breadth of what would be required for the town in the future. Each one of those additions actually turns into a little bit of a little construction project in itself. So what's not really captured in the budget that Silver Petroselli put together, I think, is the phasing that's going to have to happen to renovate this existing building, where the budget is in the $20 million range. I don't think the phasing is fully captured in there, and I would suspect that by the time you get through design and you actually identify the phasing and the relocation of personnel, that this could be a $25 million project very easily. And it's not going to get us the long-term needs of the town. And we're still sitting on a footprint of property that doesn't meet the expansion requirements in the current needs of the police department. So even if you decided to spend 25 million there, you still don't have the physical plant around the building to meet the needs. So after a lot of discussion, we think that this next step is really critical. It's going to give the town a tool to go out and maybe identify pieces of property that meet the requirements for the future. And we think this is the best use of use of the town's money, and this is a fiscally responsible approach.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you for that. Go ahead, Matt.
No, Dave. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Okay. I just would open up to everybody else, but one other just sort of quick comment on was everyone's kept us well informed of this process, and we really appreciate it. The idea that the building is in failure, to use that word, is not so much that there was any defect in the way it was designed or built at the time. It was 30 years ago. Our needs have evolved to the point where we just can't achieve those needs in the existing space, and the total footprint, as Dave pointed out, and everyone here, it's a real challenge to make it work at that exact location. So we need to explore the second option, which is a potential new building, which we're waiting on Silver Petroselli to give us that direction. Is that a fair summary? Yeah, I don't want to disparage. It's not like this was a mistake. The building was a problem. There's nothing. The building is functional as it happens, but it just no longer meets our operational needs.
The commentary about failure, I'm sorry.
No, no.
I was going to say it's not functional.
It doesn't meet our operational needs, but it happens.
Deteriorating.
Yeah, the comments about failure at this time aren't really indicative of something being done incorrectly in the past. It is, you know, our roof has needed to get redone for a while. You know, we have several leaks in the building that typically this time of year come to fruition, where we start having to have buckets around and, you know, things like that. That's what we're talking about when we talk about failure. It's just those things are gonna need to get repaired one way or another, but are we gonna do that and then need to do all these other things in the structure to make it now operationally sound for the next 20 years? That's really the crux of the question. So
Got it. Fair enough. Okay, the rest of the board.
I wanted to make a couple comments on the record. So I'm concerned for taxpayers. I just have to say that right off the bat. We're going to maybe be asking a lot if we barrel down the road to replace the police department and keep going forward with replacing public works. I've seen from the needs assessment that you've got some concerns about that building, and that was pretty well documented. But part of me wonders, what if we prioritize? What if we did a roof and window project? Is it a Band-Aid, or does that give us another 10, 15 years of using the building? I know you're shaking your head because you don't have room. You got the issue with the ladies. That is a program that I have issues with. I think the ladies make an excellent addition to our police force, but I wish it was a little more organic and it wasn't forced. But obviously they need room, and I saw the locker room space, and I see the need. I see the need. But I'm concerned overall about all these costs coming down the road. I'm kind of wondering if we should slow down a little bit. But your point was extremely well taken to me, that I think we need the study to know like, hey, this option's a better option. It's going to provide a better value than doing some kind of rehab of the police station at an enormous cost. And then the phasing for the layman and for me, that's the issue, that, where's the police going to operate out of if the place is a construction zone? So, and that's a huge concern. I think Chairman DeMayo's comment was right on. So I am in support of the study, but I've got these big overriding concerns that we're about to ask the taxpayers for a lot of money if we start leaning towards a new police station as well. Okay, sorry, had to get that off my chest. But I think the needs are there too. I went through, highlighted a couple of them, and there's more. So
this is just a small point that's really directed at one of your comments that really doesn't affect what they're asking for, which I'm in support of. When you said the need is forced in terms of expanding the women's locker room, and you wish it was more organic. I believe it is totally organic. They have a plan of perhaps 30% of the force is women, or whatever it comes to. It's not 30% right now. And over the last, I would say 75 years, there's a number of occupations where many elementary school teachers for years were women. Now there's quite a mix of whether they're men or women in elementary school. Same in my profession, librarians, mainly women, now much different. So things have changed over the years, and that's just one thing, and that's just a small thing, but it's been, you and past chiefs have mentioned the women's locker room for years. And I mean, that's not the reason to build a brand new building, but it's an important consideration, and it is not, I don't believe it's forced. That's all.
Okay. I do really need to address the fact that comment was made, because it's not forced. Our police department becomes stronger when we're more diversified and we represent the community that we serve better. So I do need to defend the women that work at the Guilford Police Department, that those hirings were not forced. They're critical components of our agency. So I don't know if that's what you meant.
But we're participating in a state program, right? And there's a target of 30% female officers.
We're not officially part of any program, but the sentiment, we are trying to up the amount of female officers within our organization to better represent the community. We're not part of the 30 by 30 movements per se.
Okay.
But regardless, it's not a forced thing. This is a choice that we're making, a deliberate choice that we're making to diversify our workforce. So I do need to say that on the record.
All right. Fair enough.
Sue?
Right, about the study. So I want to go back to another comment. I think the fact that we have a major public works project coming and other possible things like that down the road is all the more reason that we need the most information we can possibly get right now, so we can make sure all the pieces fit together in terms of the timing and the cost, the effect on the taxpayers. So I'm all in favor of doing this. And just to comment too, we've had a presentation for production of a video for affordable housing, and that had a price tag of $35,000. So to me, $36,000 for this seems like it's right in the ballpark. I do have a question, but just for my own information. How Silver Petroselli, what's their background with public safety buildings specifically? I mean, it's not an office building, so there are unique needs. Do they rely on you to inform them, or do they have some specific background in this?
So they do have background in it when they provided some documentation earlier on in this process when we initially were looking at a renovation project, a smaller scale renovation project. They have worked on some local facilities. The closest one to us is the North Branford Police Department, which was newly built within the past couple of years. So they do have experience. They go off of national standards. When they're consulting with us, they're gathering information regarding what we're doing specifically here in Guilford to support the community, what programs we have, and then they're able to apply that to national standards to then be able to help guide as well with respect to what the building needs are.
Okay. I know what I wanted to say. Thank you. Anybody else have anything? Because I know it's just sort of a timing comment that goes to these important but obviously expensive projects. And there's certainly to not pay attention to the public works would be irresponsible. We need to know how all these things are happening. And I hope MJ's still listening, because I'll make reference to the status chart, which will give us an opportunity to absorb some additional building debt in, at this point, amazingly short period of time, 3 or 4 years. If we're just doing a design study, the first, the dig into the ground for something to happen is optimistically 2-3 years from now, right?
Yeah.
By the time the bonding money hits, we will be in the downslope of that project. And anybody
2031.
Yeah, right.
Possibly
Before the bonding hit, and I'm sure the finance folks are here. So this is our job, is to balance these needs against the impact on our taxpayers, and that's absolutely important. I really appreciate the thoughtful process that's gone into getting us here. Okay, Matt has both hands up, virtual and real. So you got it. I hope I made my point.
Hey, Lou, thank you for that summary, and it's exactly the methodology we've been employing. Janice and Dave, who have been working behind the scenes, and you guys have seen some of the benefits of the work they did relative to the potentially new public works facility up off Long Hill and Route 80. And again, this is all based around timing. We were never projected to move on that project until such time as it fell within the window to do exactly what you just described, which is layer new projects in as the largest project in the history of the community, the high school, winds down. So thank you for that. I've had conversations with both Janice and Dave. We're going to be pulling together a small building committee to start on that project as well. And I think, to Jonathan's point, we need to have the community needs to see the totality of what we're looking at doing over time. And again, there may even be another project that we need to consider, which is some renovations to Town Hall, as we have some challenges with this building as well. And I won't specifically mention those now. But nonetheless, we're going to be bundling this stuff together so that we can show the community exactly what is out there in terms of needs and investment. Because quite honestly, the town has not made significant infrastructure investments since we just did an addition at the fire department. But I was going to say the fire department building over 20 years ago was the last investment that we had made. So. More to come.
Okay. I've been trying to write down if I get motions or not.
I think we did discussion.
Okay, fantastic. I actually have M&S. Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. Thorough, unless anybody else anything to present to us, and unless we have any further questions, I would call a question on whether we approve this contract with Silver Petroselli for $36,000. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay, Matt?
Aye.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Wonderful. That's after the fact, write my motion in seconds. I think that if I'm reading all this correctly, that brings us to appointments and resignations.
Yes.
To discuss and take possible action to appoint Kevin Riley to the Hazard Mitigation Commission. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, a question or comment here? All very impressive application. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Matt?
Chair. Aye.
Thank you. Discuss and take possible action to appoint Kevin Riley to the Harbor Management Commission. Busy fellow. Can I get a motion?
Yeah, I'll motion that.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Matt?
Aye.
Thank you.
So I wanted to ask the board if they might consider adding to the agenda that we want to reappoint Joseph Katuki. We did have a late vote in our RTC on Thursday evening this week. And he said he would go for a second term. So I don't think this is too controversial. He's on the Zoning Board of Appeals. And his term is expiring it's already expired 2/28/26. And we reached out to him and he said he'd be willing to go for a second term. Board would perhaps add that to the agenda and consider voting on that.
So we should just get a motion to consider adding it to the agenda.
Yeah, I'm trying to motion that
Okay.
very motion.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any question, comment? Matt, did you see this application? Did you submit something through the process? Jonathan, do you know whether that came through town hall?
I know our recruitment chair, Deb, who's here, she did try to email you about this because she knew that she had already reached out to Joseph and he would sign up again. I suppose we made it official on Thursday, though.
The only reticence is.
I don't recall seeing anything, and I was working both Thursday and Friday. Now, she might not have copied me on it. Brendan, have you received anything?
I received it over the weekend. I got an email from Deb. It's a reappointment to ZBA.
I can support adding this and voting in because he is it's a renewal. Because it is a renewal and that's our traditional protocol. But this expectation that you send something in on a Saturday or a Sunday for inclusion in a budget a meeting the following Monday is an unrealistic expectation. In general, I understand that this is an exception because this is a renewal, but I would urge that they be sent in time to be included in the upcoming agenda, which is no later than Thursday at midday, because we have to post the agenda on Thursday afternoon.
I just want to comment. That's very true, Matt, and I appreciate the exception. We actually talked about that at our RTC meeting, so we may consider moving our meeting forward a little bit so that we have a little more
Yeah,
time.
because I have no objection.
We've run into this a few times.
I don't know, but I don't have to, so I don't, that's the whole point. I don't have any reason to object or support it, as opposed to Mr. Riley here, for instance. I get a chance to at least look at this. If I had questions, I could call you or somebody and say, okay, what's happening? Just to have some due diligence opportunities.
I feel like I'm okay with reappointing this, but I feel like this has happened more than once where these things come in at the last minute, and I just don't want to see that as a continuing process.
I have to agree. We're going to try and fix that, actually.
Yeah, great.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Great. So we do have the motion to add. Do we vote on that? Let's have the vote on the motion to add this to the agenda.
I would say aye.
Aye, Matt?
Aye.
On that motion? Aye. Okay. So now we have a motion on the floor to add Mr. Katuki.
So I would motion to reappoint him. I think he's done a good service to the board.
He's on Zoning Board of Appeals.
Yeah, he's willing to go around again.
Can you just give us a quick summary what his application looks like?
I got to try to dig it up, but
and what's his business experience?
Can I ask Deb? Deb, do you know his resume a little bit right off the spot? Is that all right, Mr. Chairman? Sure. Thanks, Deb. Do you know his resume a little bit? I know he's been there for one term.
Yeah,
so I kind of thought it was just an extension of a term.
Just
too big a
quick
deal.
summary. How long has he been serving?
I have more than that to say. This was
great.
read to the Board of Selectmen, the Republican representatives on March 5th.
Okay.
And I commented to you that that's not how it works.
No,
So if
no. And I asked you specifically in an email to explain to me in writing how you would like it to work. But March 5th, it was way before Thursday.
But you sent it to John and me.
Right. Because I have to present my Republican representatives to you for you to present them to the board, or I asked
No.
in writing to
No.
tell me how I have to do this? Because it's been very confused. So it's more involved in that. He served 4 terms.
And hold on,
Okay.
let's do this methodically.
Okay.
We brought you up at the request of one of our members, and that's great.
Okay.
But I want to address the procedural question and let Matt touch on that procedural process.
Okay,
So we
great.
avoid this very discussion.
Yeah.
Matt, what's the process?
The procedural process is that typically come from the Republican Town Committee, the Democratic Town Committee, and the Independent Town Committee to the Board of Selectmen. Not to just some members of the board. It has to go to the selectman's office. That's the process that we've used for years. And again, we're back having a conversation about a Republican process, not the official process to get someone on the Board of Selectmen's agenda.
Okay.
Right. Okay, so
the process, I swearly on your shoulders here. Solve it.
Okay,
We should
yeah.
not be having these discussions.
That's okay. I thought they had to be the ones to nominate my people to the board.
The first selectman really sets the agenda for our meetings.
Okay.
And that's where that stuff should go.
Okay,
And
that's
these things should be dramatically smoother than they've been.
Okay, great. Then
So,
that's how it
Tell
will
us
go.
about Mr. Katuki.
Mr. Katuki has been on the board for 4 years. I feel he's been a positive influence on the board. He's been involved in the board. So I had asked him, like I ask every other person whose term has been expired, if they would like to continue, because they can continue for a second term. And he had said that he would be more than happy to continue to serve on that board and serve the community. So
Great.
I guess.
Thank you.
Okay.
We hear you. Good. Wonderful. Thanks. Thank you. Okay, so we do have a motion on the floor to reappoint Mr. Katuki to Zoning Board of Appeals. Any further questions or comments?
I would, did he fill out one of these things?
No.
Initially, he filled out an application, but what one of those things?
One of the applications.
One of the applications, even for
Serve on the board.
reappointments, even if it's after the fact, the form that the town.
Yes. So have you had every single person that's been renewed fill that out?
That's the process.
I thought we does that.
I don't remember that, so I will have him do.
It's just enormously helpful.
I will have him do that.
Yeah.
To have enough information to make the process smoother, and it probably
Definitely.
benefits the applicants. I don't think they want to get.
I know there were a lot of reappointments in the last few. I don't remember you asking that question in the last few Board of Selectmen meetings when we've had tons of reappointments. So I wasn't aware of that, and I will have him fill out an application.
I'm on, as I mentioned before, I'm on the nominating committee for the DTC, and I will make sure that I mention that in our process as well.
Great, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thanks, Deb. All right, so okay, one last detour there. So we have, I'll call the question. The room, all in favor of Mr. Katuki? Aye. Matt?
Aye.
Okay, thanks.
Just one more thing I have, and I'm sorry, maybe we should save this for new business, but I did want to point out, some members of my RTC really read me the riot act about our police.
I was going to bring that up in old business.
And I'm wondering if we're going to get these interviews scheduled.
Who's planning to bring it up in old business?
It is old business.
All right, Mr. Chairman, as you know.
I'm with you. It's been top of mind for me, at least. Okay. So request for use of town property. St. George's to use the green for Palm Sunday gathering. I think it's a group ecumenical thing. I'm pretty sure a number of the churches come out. So can I get a motion to approve that use?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Matt?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. That passes. Request for Shoreline Chamber of Commerce to use the green for the Artisan Marketplace on Saturday, September 26th. Ahead of themselves.
This is new.
Yeah. Does everybody get a chance to look this over? Here's to meet the the personage. Is this a Guilford organization? Shoreline Chamber of Commerce. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So any questions or comments about that proposal? Can I get a motion?
So moved. Second.
Question, comment, or discussion?
I just want to ask the question one more time, but by the time it reaches the selectmen meeting, has it already been determined that there's no collision with another group that has an event?
That is the objective.
All right. I mean, I kind of asked this question before.
That is the
At this
idea.
point, we know there's no
that we're counting on the process to catch that. That's the very purpose. One of the purposes to do that.
Because typically I don't really have a lot of objections. I want everyone to try and use the town green, but when they collide with another group, that can cause a problem. If they're big events and so forth.
Without a doubt. And Brendan's hearing all this, Matt, and I know they've talked about it.
Yes,
Right.
yes, we have, and remember, the green is a large space, so there
Sure.
can be multiple events going on based on the size of the intended usage and organization. So it's not unusual for us to have had more than one going on at any given time.
Good.
Okay, so the request, so we have a motion for the September 26th date for the Shoreline Chamber.
We did.
And the those in the room in favor? Aye. Pat?
Aye.
Thank you. And next, request by the Guilford Ag Society to place a sign on the green advertising the farmers market at Guilford Fairgrounds, sign weekly, to September 10. So a sign placement weekly. So that'll be there most of the summer. But that's also a very popular event. So can I get a motion to approve that?
Yeah, I'll motion to approve it.
So it sounds like they're gonna have a sign every week.
Taking it down in between.
Is there a second?
Work.
Not yet.
Okay.
Oh, second.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay. Yes, I guess they're taking it.
Is that kind of normal?
That's why I keep saying the
You
same
pointed
thing.
out a little, and I don't really know. Is that
Matt, what's your experience there?
Typically we do 2 weeks, but this is a recurring event, and they don't have because they are not located in the center part of town. It's to their advantage to have a reminder for folks who don't come into town all that regularly.
And it's not going to prevent anyone else who needs to get a sign put up from having that opportunity.
Correct.
Okay, great.
And let's call Guilford Ag Society is another one of those nonprofit organizations in our community that we do extensive amount of work with and we partner with. There are a number of events that they host on behalf of the town. They get referred from the town. You remember there was during COVID, they gave us the opportunity to use their facility to distribute tests, et cetera. So they fall into that partnership category.
Super.
Okay.
Thank you. Any further questions, comments? All in favor of that sign, say aye. Aye. Matt?
Aye.
Thank you. Request by the Guilford Keeping Society to place a sign on the green advertising the historic house tour. I've gone through this every time I can. They do a great job. Can I get a motion?
So moved. Second.
Okay. Any question or comment about that sign? All in favor in the room? Aye. Any opposed? None. Matt?
Aye. Did you get 17.4?
Sorry?
Did you get 17.4 in addition to the there are 2 requests from
the Ag Society?
Yeah, it was about the fair.
For the fair, we did skip that.
Yeah, we did skip it.
I sure did.
It's a trend today.
No. I'm reading these.
I'll motion on 17.4.
Thank you.
Approve that.
Thank you. Nice save, team.
I'll second it.
Thank you. All in favor of the Ag Society for the Agricultural Fair on September 4th, having their sign up.
Aye.
Aye. Thanks.
Aye.
We did 17.5, right? We did the
Yes.
Keeping Society.
Okay. Yes.
We need Sustainable Task Force to get a sign placement on April 11th, advertising their repair cafe.
So moved.
Second that.
Any questions, comments, concerns? None in the room? Aye.
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
Thank you. Any committee reports? I have one. Shumpashaw. I have those folks asking to get some advancement. I'd like to see if we can arrange to have some public input at some point, what that would look like. To a certain extent, I'm relying on Matt to kind of direct that.
I think some kind of public hearing, presentation / public hearing might be best served at the community center. But I think they need to make their case to the larger community in terms of the importance of recognizing this woman, historic woman here in Guilford. So it's time to start. And I think the best thing to do is probably a combination of things. One, get an article in the Guilford Courier, another article in the Guilford Courier, which would include the announcement of a hearing for citizens to participate in. So I think you kick that process off. You'd probably work with my staff, with our staff to select a date. And I know these
I'll
folks
check
have
with
been-
them and we'll come back with some proposed dates with your direction there. Thank you. Anybody else working on things? We're good. Anybody want to report? Correspondence?
I don't actually have some
I didn't
correspondence
see anything this
today.
week.
I might have missed one, so maybe I'll bring it next week, but,
And
people were busy this spring.
I wanted to bring up the old business as well of what we're doing with the police commission. So thanks for mentioning it before. This is the time. I had thrown out, I think it's just a function of us as a board coordinating with Brendan. I had thrown out having it after one of these meetings. I think that was maybe felt to be too difficult. I'm going to suggest again with Matt's direction and assistance to get Brendan throw out some evening dates. Is that the consensus? That would be
Yes.
better? Honestly, in the next 2 or 3 weeks, if we can, to get that ball rolling. Did you have, that's my thought.
I appreciate it, Lou, and I appreciate Matt and the whole rest of the
And
board.
I followed up with Brendan too, so it isn't.
I do have a comment. In April, it'll be a year since these two applicants applied,
We need
so.
to get it nailed down.
On the
Two
flip side, as far as
applicants, and a
scheduling
number of
interview-
applicants to be more precise,
Mhm.
more than just two.
Scheduling an interview, we could just say, hey, we want you to come to us. Please
Well, I had said that.
invite them to our selectmen meeting. That seems to make sense to me. But
Did you chime
think-
in on the email conversation about this?
I had thrown that out.
I did.
Yeah.
I've been a little behind on emails.
But you felt you made a point that these people have probably paying jobs and that it would be fair to do it in the evening.
I thought so. I mean, I know for me personally.
I wondered
it's a lot, but-
if we're all here after this meeting, could we possibly make a date?
Yeah. Yes. Why don't we do that?
At the end of this meeting?
Yeah,
We'll
just stick
see
around.
Brendan before we go.
Mm-hmm.
Work, Matt, for you?
Works for me.
Thank you. Okay, so that's good for everybody. Got a couple more minutes? Good. We'll get the magic of iPhones.
Great.
Or whatever.
The magic of my
Competitor is out there. Okay, any other old business? Anyone? New business? We have folks showing back up. We do have public forum is, well, Deb.
Thank you, Debbie DeMusis, 18 Cedar Loaf Road. I just wanted to mention that at the last Board of Selectmen meeting, the 11 representatives were chosen for the Charter Commission. And the Board of Selectmen did recommend that the Charter Revision Commission consider an A, a B, and a C. So the B comment, whether to amend Chapter 3 of the Town Charter Board of Selectmen to provide that votes cast for an unsuccessful candidate for first selectman shall not be counted as votes for such candidate as a selectman member of the board. And so I'm not sure where that's coming from. I don't know if it's coming from a political standpoint or what's best for the citizens of Guilford. In the last election, I have here that the number of votes that were cast for each individual. And for first selectman, Matt Hoey did get 5,318 votes. Jonathan Trotta did get 2,028 votes.
So close.
And then for the selectmen, Sandra Ruoff had 4,467 votes. Lou Federici had 4,250 votes. Carlisle Chacon had 1,802 votes. Sue Renner had 2,072 votes. Charles Haverda had 1,513 votes. And Justin Paglino had 294 votes. So I think it would be disenfranchised for the citizens of Guilford if they wanted someone to run initially as a first selectman and they voted for him and he got the most votes out of not all of you, but out of some of the other selectmen, that should change. So I think that's a real consideration. I'm just saying this because I'd like to put it out there to the public and to the citizens to realize that when our original founding people who founded the charter may have had a reason for doing that there was a balance on the Board of Selectmen, that maybe that's an important process. So I'm just basically throwing it out there because I want the citizens of Guilford to have input on that. I think it's extremely important with rewriting our charter that is one of the most important things on the charter, because it will be someone who doesn't win the election, and we know elections have consequences, but I think that offers a balance to the Board of Selectmen. So that's something that I just felt was extremely important.
Any, thank you. All set?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
So I don't want to cut you short.
No,
Thank you. I'll first of all check to see if anybody else, nothing else in the room. Anybody online have any comments? Nope. I would just as the most general observation point out that those are precisely the types of questions that would be well addressed. We're happy to hear any of this kind of stuff. Well addressed to the commission, charter revision committee itself, which I would have a great number of thoughts about that, and I may chime in at some point before a committee meeting. And to Deb's very point, anyone who cares about the town should involve themselves in this process. I am sure those folks are going to want to hear all good, bad, and medium ideas, and their task will be to sort all that out. And so I think it's critical to do that.
I haven't been on the town website. Did we already figure out when they might have their first meeting, or I guess we need a little time to figure that out?
I will defer to Matt.
No, they have not done it yet. They will have a formation meeting. The announcement went out to them last week, indicating, I think it was early part of last week, with a bunch of materials and I think a solicitation in terms of potential first meeting dates. So we've got an aggressive timeline on it. So we're anticipating that the formation meeting would happen sooner rather than later.
Super. Okay, before we adjourn to executive session, is there anything else that we need to discuss?
You made a comment earlier about perhaps we should bring up the budget.
Yeah, it turned out it was on here anyway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The misinformation, timing difference, whatever of what was said earlier. I don't have the final number in front of me either, but the last numbers that we saw on the expenditure side, so you've got Board of Ed factored in yours. Okay.
So keep going.
I was just going to say, without showing the Board of Ed reduction made by the Board of Finance, we were down to a 5.84% expenditure increase. So that doesn't include the Board of Ed reduction though.
Nor does it.
Further, I also wanted to point out that this piece of the process is the expenditures. It's only the spending. This doesn't take into account revenue increases. It doesn't take into account grand list increases. And those are the things that go into the mill rate. So this doesn't mean a 5.84 or whatever it's reduced to tax increase. I had someone approach me and based on my headline and said, how can this be? I thought there was a grand list increase. Well, yes, there was. And that has to be considered at the same time. You know, people who are opposed to or in favor of the budget are going to cherry pick whatever they want to cherry pick. But I think it's important to keep everything together in the same conversation.
And as things stood, and again, stabbing at these numbers from memory is a risky business. But I think the overall tax increase that came out of the Board of Finance was close to 4% by the time we got done taking into consideration. Am I in the neighborhood?
4.08.
Yeah, because I was
close to 4%. Okay, I managed to get it right.
4.09.
And so that, to your very point, it's like we all focus on what we want to focus on, but I always focus on that final process. What is the economic impact going to be to people and their individual taxes, subject to a number of other small adjustments? What happens with the people who have relief and whatnot? That 4.08 is the rough figure that someone today could use to swag their impact. Not 6, which is that newspapers doing their job.
What is that number again? The 4.08?
That is the percent increase in the mill rate.
Okay.
Proposed.
Correct. And I will note that is still prior to the effect of anything the Board of Tax Appeals has done. That number is not yet reflected in these numbers. So once we get that, it potentially has a change.
Yes.
The mill rate.
And for the most part, Board of Tax Appeals, they're settling litigious matters.
You got someone in the,
Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
in there.
You got it.
Yeah, MJ, just point of clarification. I thought on your budget adjustments, you had a factor for Board of Assessment Appeals, but not the number. Am I correct?
Yes.
So you took a projection.
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
I didn't want anyone to assume that that's going to get layered on top of. Now,
Sorry, yeah.
the assessor's office had the lowest number of appeals that they've had in years. I think it was something like 34 cases. Most of them
that's
were
great.
most of them were on personal property and not on real estate. The larger of those the typical appeals.
Let's brought that up soon.
I apologize, I wasn't clear.
I hope I didn't get the poor fellow's name. Wawanet was a street. I couldn't hear his name. I hope he follows. I hope he's watching the follow-up, or people circle back to him.
I could not get the exact name either. I'm sorry. He had a kind of a thicker accent.
Yeah.
I wanted to make a comment, and I just want to people to remember exactly what Sue's point is that, you know, when you factor in the revenue and the grand list growth, that the increase is more along 4% than 6%. So, and often we forget that, but we do still want to know budget numbers to say, well, maybe you could have done better on the budget or not. So, but overall impact 4.08, it looks like, for taxpayers. And then, if I may, just a little anecdotal. I've knocked on doors, and it's a great learning experience for me. And I knocked on a door where I talked about taxes with people, and they said, no, I really don't mind what the taxes are. I just really want the school system to be strong. And I was like, okay, I got it. They came to this town, they care about the school system. But I've also knocked on doors where they told me, they said, we feel like we don't have enough money to do our roof because ends are not meeting. And so those tax payments, like we saw today with someone, can really mean something. So somehow you balance those two doors, which is not that easy.
Yeah, that's why we're here. Okay, we do have executive session. Can we get I want to take a quick break before we go into executive session, but we should move to go into executive session, and we'll reconvene in 4 minutes.
So you want to?
I need a motion to.
Myself and Gary?
What's that?
Invited myself and Gary?
Yes, and invited Gary and Kevin. Thank you. Everyone else, if you'd please
Wait. Is Scott
Sorry,
Williams
Matt.
also? Scott Williams?
Scott. Yeah, I'm here. Thank you.
Sorry, Scott.
Good.
I can't see those screens.
I know, those little, pictures are little.
Whose dogs are those? They're beautiful.
Scott's.
Are those your dogs, Scott?
Thanks, Brendan. We just voted to come out of executive session, where I would point out that no votes were taken, no actions taken as well. Can I get a motion with regard to the subject?
I can do that if you can help me with the wording, Mr.
I
Chairman.
would like a motion to approve and authorize the land acquisition committee to enter into negotiations for the parcel of real estate that we discussed in executive session.
I'll motion as you've read.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Any further questions or discussions? And then
I
there'll be.
I would only
Gary?
point that it's the Land Acquisition Commission, not the committee.
Oh, thank you. Sorry about that. I appreciate the clarification. So Land Acquisition Committee, Brendan, you'll make that.
Commission.
Oh, man, I'm just lying on.
It's just a bad
That's commission. So, sorry. With that clarification, all in favor? Aye. Mr. Hoy had to leave as a result of another town meeting obligation, so he will not be on this vote. Is there any other business to come before our board today? I got a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
For discussion? No, aye. Aye. All right, Brendan.
Motions
Thank you.
to adjourn are so easy.
They typically are. I've never seen